Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. Mia glares at me one last time before slamming the door. As her dramatic exit fades, I realize this may be the last time I see my girlfriend again. Well, ex-girlfriend, that's for sure. I surrender myself to the sofa, trying to replay all the terrible things that were said, but all I can think is, wow, all her stuff fit in 2 bags. 6 months of living together. Everything. 2 bags. I get it, she just got the car. Yes, she'd have to save a long time for it. And as clever as nekos are, they just lose it when crossing roads. In so many ways, they look human. Hitting a neko must be as traumatic as hitting an actual person. I can't imagine going through that, and yes, it sucks that her car is wrecked, but this is bullshit. Get rid of Claudia. No, Claudia had nothing to do with your accident. Even if I wanted to get rid of Claudia, which I don't, I can't. I promised that I would care for her. It was the whole point of moving back here. Mia knows this. What the hell did she expect me to say? I don't know if Claudia is a cat or a neko. But let me put it this way. If you're dating somebody, whether you live together or not, and your partner were to, run over a cat with their car by accident, and then they demand that because they feel bad about that, that you have to then get rid of your pet cat. That's fucked up. All the more if, we're talking nekos, because a neko is basically just a person. It's like comparing the difference between a person with blonde hair or red hair. It's just an affectation of, your appearance. Like I've said before, I think it would be interesting if there were people out there that had naturally purple hair and naturally purple eyes. Though I don't know how naturally purple eyes would respond to sunlight. I know naturally blue eyes are more sensitive to light. I have brown eyes myself. Though, my left eye is more sensitive to sunlight than my right eye. So sometimes when I'm outside walking, I'll occasionally, depending on where the sun is, I might have to close my left eye while I'm walking. I think it's a slight after effect. I think around when I was like either 12 or 13 years old, I had palsy for a couple weeks. That was technically Bell's palsy, but still, that was awkward and uncomfortable. I had to tape one of my eyes shut for a couple weeks because I couldn't physically move it anymore, let alone blink it. And, well, if I hadn't taped it shut, the eye would have just gone blind. That being said, both my eyes have perfect eyesight. I don't need glasses or anything the slightest. But my left eye is a little more sensitive to bright lights. If it has any sort of night vision, it's not anything noticeable. I'm just saying, even if we're just talking purely cats, it would be what this person's asking for is fucked up. Now, if you hit a neko, and a neko, again, is just it's a person, just a different hairstyle. Except, cat ears or extra skills. It's like, at this point, we're like discussing the difference between humans and elves or Viltrumites. A person's a person, whether they have pointy ears, cat ears, or can fly. That being said, it would definitely be much more traumatic hitting a neko than an actual cat, because you actually are hitting a person. And as much as I would imagine that you'd be like, oh no, you don't want your girlfriend being arrested, at the same time, you did run over a person. I feel like there might be legal concerns about that. Like, I feel like if nekos were real and I actually hit one with a car, I imagine I'd be arrested. But then again, they made it kind of sound like the neko just sort of ran out into traffic. Which at this point, I kind of feel that's a concern on society. Like, if you have an entire group of people that's just likely to run into traffic, there's some sort of concern and workaround that needs to happen. It'd be kind of like if suddenly, like, half the population had, like, really bad ADHD and, like, couldn't focus. Like, obviously you're not going to treat those people any worse, but you're going to be at least mindful of that this person maybe just, maybe have some fucking safeguards. I mean, it's the same thing like in many factories. There's moving machinery parts. Usually there's supposed to be guards. I mean, heck. Another thing you can keep in mind is, take me. My short-term memory is getting worse and worse. Hell, I've never smoked pot or done any drugs in my life. I have had a lot of concussions. I've been literally isekai. I've been hit by a fucking full-size Ford truck going 75 miles an hour. I wound up getting like a dozen plus staples on the left side of my skull. Hell, I couldn't move my left arm for a couple months. All my ribs were as bruised as possible without being broken. And from my waist to my toes, I was covered in purple and black bruises that felt and looked like basketballs. It actually, like I was touching those bruises and it felt like the texture of a basketball. Hell, I remember looking at my car, because I was in the driver's side of my car when I got hit, T-boned by that truck. It was completely destroyed. Main point, I'm just saying, I've had a lot of blows to the head. Some of which by things that probably should have just killed me outright, but I'm grateful to be alive. I've also had meningitis, encephalitis, swelling of the brain and spinal cord. Doctors did pump me full of a bunch of drugs to keep me from dying, though. So I guess technically I have done drugs, but it's always been, doctors giving them to me. Hell, doctors have been wanting to give me antidepressants for, ever. And I've always turned that down. Mainly because, one, I'm not knocking other people if they need it, but one, I don't want to be dependent on a chemical. And two, I'm also worried if I couldn't afford it one day, like if I just lose medical insurance or if, can't afford to buy the stuff. That's more of a concern about future, just being too poor to afford it. And even then, just worry about how that stuff would really affect me. But my short-term memory is kind of shit. But, yeah, gotten a lot of blows to the head. Apparently depression's not good for mental memory and stuff. Hell, at one point in my past, granted, I occasionally don't sleep the best nowadays, but honestly, I sleep well, way, way better than I used to in the past. Hell, there was one point where I went a couple years of sleeping like an hour a day. Sometimes I wouldn't even sleep at all. Apparently, prolonged sleep deprivation is not good for your brain long term, even if you go back to sleeping normally. Probably the sleep deprivation probably had a huge hand, even nowadays. But maybe that'll get improvement. Or maybe it's just aging. I don't know. And again, the meningitis, encephalitis, swelling of the brain, spinal cord, probably not the greatest for memory or the concussions. Also, Spinal Tap fucking sucked. Having a needle in my spine was one of the top things that were really unpleasant to be, I'm just saying you shouldn't have a needle inside your spine. Then again, that catheter I had to wear after that bladder surgery for a couple of days, that sucked. It's 49 hours straight of having that up me. I even measured it after I had to take it out. It was a Foley catheter. So I had a couple nozzles on the side where your piss would go to a bag, the other was because there's a balloon inside your bladder to keep it in place, so you had to hit the other nozzle of a little thing they gave you so you could drain the balloon. And then pull it out of you, and of course it had to be extra thick because of the way the surgery was, which again I didn't want to do. At least it was a less invasive form of it. Originally they were wanting to do a thing that would take 6 weeks recovery, and I was able to recover because of the less invasive version of it in a week. Still sucked. That was 1.5 years plus ago. It's crazy how much time flies. But that sucked. It was the thickness of a number 2 pencil 14 inches up my dick. That was a really unpleasant 49 hours. My mom spent 3 days and 3 nights over here. During that time, I really appreciated that. It was nice spending time with Mom, but I would have liked it if it was under better circumstances. We watched some Jackie Chan movies and Conan the Barbarian. Heck, I've been in a lot of car accidents. Heck, back when I was 12, there was a car accident where my mom actually leaned over me, shielded me from the brunt of that again. I think it was a van that time that hit us, or a truck. I don't know. But If she hadn't done that, I would have died. So my mom saved me then. That being said, she did get a very large scar on her head herself. That being said, I could see her bone. I could see her skull, the white of her skull. So that was unpleasant to see, and it made me very worried about her and scared and sad. Heck, I'll say this. I love my mom very, very much. I think she did a good job being there for me. She was there for me a lot of times when I wasn't feeling well, or even just in general every day when I was young, I was growing up. Heck, I really enjoyed playing Spyro the Dragon 1 back on the original PlayStation, Crash Bandicoot 2, and of course World Warrior, Dragon's Myth, and New Legend, but particularly me and her would sit and play the original Mario 1 and Mario 3 on the NES. Neither of us were very good at it, but I just enjoyed spending time with her. Maybe one day in the future, I'll play those games with her again. But Dad doesn't let her hook up video game consoles to the TV where they live, so he's worried it'll break their TV. That's dumb. Another thing with my mom is she used to cook food, from homemade stuff. I don't think people nowadays do homemade food anymore. Heck, I think I hear a lot of people nowadays don't know how to cook it at all. I'm not saying I'm a chef or a really good cook. Not that I really spend much time trying to do that stuff. Heck, a lot of times I just eat like a bowl of cereal, or I go to get Arby's or something. But my mom would actually cook and clean in the house. Do stuff like laundry, clean the house, and she would cook food, and she'd cook food homemade. She wasn't Gordon Ramsay or anything, but I think she did a good job, and I think she cooked good food. And a lot of times when she'd be cooking, I would sit in the kitchen and talk to her. I still do go and see my mom from time to time. Heck, I have my phone part of her phone plan as an excuse to make sure I have to go visit her once a month to give her cash for the phone. More of a criticism of myself, a bit of an introverted person. But also just because it's something to make sure that I have a reason to go see her. And then I have time to just chit-chat with her, small talk, check up on her. And of course talk to her about some things, like occasionally here and there, like, oh, I got this going on with work or something like that. Just because really she's the really only IRL person I talk to. And even then, it's usually very, very sparse. But still, hopefully that doesn't make me a bad person to have. That isn't, the phone thing is just an excuse that I have to come over and give her cash. As just really just an excuse to make sure I go see her. I love my mom very, very much. I also sit and play like Battleship with her. It's an older board game. And of course, we have a version with no electronics or anything. I feel like the ones electronic stuff are just gimmicky, and it really takes away a lot of fun. It's just annoying, all the noises it makes. We just play the ones that are just, the original version of Battleship. It's a good board game. I'd suggest it to people if you haven't played it before. Heck, I've even gone over and played some card games with her when she's either played it with my sisters or when she played it with her sisters. Because all my aunts and uncles are still alive. Though I imagine that'll change in time. Everybody's really fucking old. So that's depressing. Honestly, though, the card games they play are like really old stuff, like euchre or 313 or 2500 or rummy or stuff like that. Heck, if I could, I would teach my mom how to play like Magic the Gathering or something. But honestly, she would never touch those kinds of games because she would just not be interested. And Dad would probably be like, it's of the devil. So I guess I got off topic. We were talking about nekos and stuff, and my bad. I was just saying that even in a non-fantasy world thing, because obviously this is a fantasy world here, because we're talking about cat people, which would still be people. It'd just be people with, again, it'd be like if all of a sudden we did naturally occur. You know, like what if we like suddenly met a country where there was people that have purple hair and purple eyes? So just saying, if nekos were real, hitting them would be the same as if you ran over a person. There would have to be a pretty good reason. Though, of course, accidents happen. I suppose the main thing I'm just really trying to say here is, obviously, nekos aren't real until Elon Musk makes them or something. I thought it was a funny joke. Apparently it wasn't funny. Elon Musk is like, it's not a joke. I am going to make cat girls. And then I'd be like, you ever watch Azure Lane? Crosswave? The giant ship waifus? It's like, you're thinking too small, Elon. Giant battleship girlfriends. Waifus. At this point, we're like, space aliens are real, and they land, and they're just a bunch of big titty futas. Well, now that I've managed to make anyone who's stayed this long in the video instantly click off in abject horror. Let's continue the video with no viewers. But yeah, I'm just saying, fantasy world shit aside, if your partner runs over a cat by accident and then demands you get rid of your pet cat, well, let me know in the comments what you would do in that situation. If, say, you had a pet cat you've actually had for years and years and years, and yes, I know we're talking about nekos here in this game, but I'm talking about the real world. You know, nekos don't actually exist. I'm just saying actual cats. 1. And even feel free to put the letters with it. Scenario A. Your partner runs over a cat or dog. Either one. Let's say your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever runs over a dog. And they feel bad about that. So the dog that you have had for 6 years, your partner now demands that you get rid of your dog that you've had for 6 years. What do you do? Scenario B, nekos are real and they actually exist, and you have a neko that lives with you. And your partner runs over a neko. Like, basically there's a cat girl running in the street, and your partner just like turns them into ketchup, and then she's like, I feel bad about this. You have to now kick your neko out of the house. Or interchange any of that. She runs over an actual cat, but you have a neko she wants to get rid of, or she runs over a neko in the street, and then she wants you to get rid of your pet cat. What do you do in this situation? I vent aloud to the room and notice a concerned pair of eyes peeking at me from the sunroom. What the fuck is a sunroom? Hey, Claus? Sorry you had to hear all that. What is a sunroom? Yes, I understand it's something like a room with a bunch of really big windows that people tend to have plants in. It's like a fucking tiny greenhouse that doesn't grow any actual plants you're going to eat, but it's also like a living room or a kitchen. It's a living room or a kitchen that has big windows with a bunch of extra plants. I assume it's something rich people have, because I only ever see or hear of it in movies, video games, or animes about rich people. Mad? I force a smile. Not at you. With slow, deliberate steps, Claudia crosses the room. She stops at the far end of the sofa, examining me with her gentle gaze. I do feel like this brings up other concerns in regard to both a relationship and also ethics of a person, air quotes, owning another person. But hey, let's just enjoy the game and forget about all the moral quandary stuff. Because honestly, at this point, we'll be here all fucking day if I go into that. But feel free to share in the comments. Like, what the fuck? Everyone's like, don't act like you're not enjoying the game. I'm not trying to hide that I'm enjoying the game. I hope you're enjoying the video. With slow, deliberate steps, Claudia crosses the room. She stops at the far end of the sofa, examining me with her gentle gaze. So we're going to get like a backstory on why nekos exist. And also, if there are cat girls, are there fox girls? Are there like dog girls? Are there like mouse girls? Or like iron mouse girls? Are there like... Lunar then proceeded to list off 20 subgenres of VTubers. This is your home, Claudia. I will never send you away. You are family. Claudia's expression visibly softens, but the crease of her brow betrays some lingering unease. She can read my dark mood. In her typical way, Mia didn't just leave. She quietly scorched the earth beneath us first. She knew what fuel to use and just where to set the sparks. She didn't yell. She didn't even raise her voice. The whole melodramatic event left me exhausted, hollow out, and smoldering. Claudia slides over to me, placing a hand on my thigh and letting out a small sound. Okay, let me check something. This isn't hentai, right? I didn't bother checking. Okay, let's read the tags. Visual novel. Choose your own adventure. Cute. Interactive fiction. Romance. Dating sim. Story-rich. Immersive sim. Comic book. Multiple endings. Casual text-based anime. Hand-drawn. Cats. Cats. Emotional. Atmospheric indie. Okay, there's no mention of NSFW, nudity, or hentai. Just had to make sure it's safe for YouTube. Everyone's like, if it was hentai, would you still play it? Yes. You just wouldn't see. There wouldn't be a video. But the game would still get played. Is OBS Chan working? Bah. Yes, it is. I feel like the developer of this game would be annoyed at the way I'm playing their game. But not apologizing for me being me. Sad. I thought I was hiding it better. You know, it really shouldn't be doing this, but this is making me think of Full Metal Alchemist. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I thought I was hiding it better. Yeah, I'm sad. I reach up and rub her head. Claudia presses into my hand, twisting so that I'm now rubbing her base of her ear. She loved it when Mom would do this. So, did I grow up with this neko? My fingers alternate between rubbing and scratching the thick, yielding cartilage of her cool, large ear. Her closed eyes and peaceful smile are complemented by a long, low hum. Claudia's presence at this moment brings a tranquility which is surprisingly disarming. Like a relaxing fist, the tension fades from my back and neck as I rub her ear. Her simple joy thins the bitterness in my belly, melting it away. Claudia lets out more soft hums and turns, rolling onto her back, with her head on my lap. Question. Are we zooming in? I think we're zooming in. Would this story be better or worse if it was just large sentient Eevees? Like Eevee or Vaporeon? Or just a 6-foot-tall woman wearing a hoodie? You know, like a set of pajamas, like Vaporeon pajamas? I have to reach around her face to keep scratching her ear. This means I can feel her warmth beneath on the skin of my forearm as she hums through her contagious smile. The moment is both deeply intimate and completely innocent. I think there was a VTuber that actually wore a Vaporeon hoodie, wasn't there? I think it was Fifi. Type in VV Vaporeon. Hoodie? Well, there are Vaporeon hoodies. Just neat. There are actually full-size Vaporeon hoodies that are apparently very popular. Did you know in terms of human... VTuber Vaporeon hoodie? Huh, just typing in VTuber hoodie. Oh, that's cool. I forgot there was a VTuber called Pikami that had like a little dinosaur hoodie. That's neat. You know, I'm going to share a picture in the post at some point. It's like, let me see if I can. Didn't find what I was looking for. It was Musashi from Brave Fencer Musashi wearing Minku pajamas. But I know I got that saved somewhere, so... Everyone's like, pay attention to the video game. I was looking up pajamas. I'll share it in community. It's just like it's like a really fat, floofy ear bunny. So it's like, just imagine a guy wearing big, floofy bunny pajamas. Everyone's like, Lunar, you sound so lame. I'm like, whatever. Don't make fun of the bunny pajamas. You guys ever listen to the Bonnie song, FNAF Nightcore? I'm a big purple bunny. I'll put it in the description. I've always been amazed at the level of trust she gives me, completely vulnerable and yet totally comfortable. Growing up together, Claudia was Mom's shadow. Mom would dress her and do girly things to her, and they'd be together all the time. When not with Mom, Claudia hung around in the sunroom, watching the birds. I always thought she was pretty, but other than seeing her at dinner, and occasionally out of nowhere hug from her, my head was buried in schoolwork. We just weren't very close. Hugs are nice, though. After I finished school, I was able to get my own place with the monthly disbursement from Dad's accident. Well, that's depressing. I met Mia. Then Mom had to move and couldn't take Claudia with her. Mom offered me the house on the provision that I'd take care of her for her neko. Of course, I said yes. We moved in, and for the last 6 months, my focus was naturally on Mia. Claudia would help me in the kitchen and have meals with us, but otherwise she kept to herself, keeping busy with chores, doing dishes, folding laundry, taking care of the flowers in the garden. Okay, so basically it's more like your mom's adopted daughter. Which will probably make some of the possible routes in this game kind of creepy. Everyone's like, we're already in that territory. I'm like, yes. But if I can make everyone out there more uncomfortable than you already are, then everyone's like, we can't... Lunar, we can't see you giving us a thumbs up. We can't see the peace sign either. Stop making... It's like, we can't see your body language. Stop. Like, you do not have a VTuber model set up. No one can see anything. Stop making the body movements. Like, now you're just waving at all of us. And now, after the breakup of Mia, here's Claudia to ease my stress. Selflessly affectionate, reminding me when we were younger. I get home after a hard day at school, and Claudia would come out of the sunroom and surprise me with a big hug and a smile. Wait, where did your mom move to? And why couldn't she bring? She always seemed to know when I needed one. My neko, now my responsibility. I hate that Mia put me in a position where I was expected to choose between my girlfriend and my neko. It's complete bullshit that Mia would vent on Claudia like this. As the bitter flavors of resurge my sour in my stomach, Claudia pops her head up. Tea? Yeah, tea is awesome. Yeah, good idea. We head into the kitchen to make our tea. I prepare the kettle and grab the tin, while Claudia fetches 2 cups and the milk. Why are you putting milk in the tea? For me, a cup of tea with a splash of milk. For Claudia, a cup of milk with a splash of tea. I don't know if you can really call what Claudia drinks tea, but she's always called it that, so I do too. How would that taste? Part of me wants to try that now. Everyone's like, for the love of God, Lunar, are you seriously going to make a large cup of milk and then like pour some, like a can of brisk iced tea with lemon into it? Would it matter if it's with lemon? I don't know. How would that taste? Heck, what would happen if you poured a tiny bit of milk into brisk iced tea with lemon? What if you just had a cup of milk and you just poured a little bit of brisk iced tea into the milk? Not a lot. Would you even be able to taste the difference? Huh. That'd be something to try. If I ever do, I'll have to let you guys know how it turns out. Claudia drinks half her tea, then sits grinning and licking her lips. I smile almost against her will. It's the only evidence I need. I am grateful to have her. Claudia is intelligent, capable, and complex, with such alien motivations and concerns compared to those of humans, but it's the way she so deeply embraces the simplest joys of her domesticated life that I find so zen. As if reading my thoughts, Claudia looks up from her tea. Good. As always, I'm not entirely sure what she's referring to. Likely, much more than just the tea. Yes, Claudia, it is good. He kind of looks like Invincible. Oh my god! I'm imagining a version of the story where we're playing as Mark and he's breaking up with Amber. And we have fucking Battle Beast. We're just sitting in the kitchen with fucking Battle Beast drinking our fucking milk tea. And now Battle Beast is laying there as we're scratching his ears. Giving him head scritches. The developer of the game has got to be like, what the fuck? Stop ruining my game. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. The really hilarious part, though, is I wound up looking at a bit of a video that was posted like 4 years ago about a game that the developer of this game worked on. And I was like, hey, did the people who make this game ever going to make any more? And the developer was like, sadly no. And he actually gave links to where many of the other developers went on to do their own things, which I have yet to really check out. But I have those links. But that developer gave links to the other developers and the progress on the projects that they've worked on. But at the end of their comment, they also mentioned this game, a game that they made that is free on Steam. This game is free. And albeit I bet the developer had no idea it was actually going to ever let's play their game, the developer of this game is actually the one who suggested this game to me. However, they don't know I have a channel or make videos. They were just kind enough to respond to a person making queries about the future of all of those involved in Katawa Shoujo, a really good visual novel that I don't know if I'll ever finish. It'd be lots of multiple endings and multiple paths, but of course I can always return to it if anybody would like to see it. After all, this video is Gravity Part 133, and my most recent part of Katawa Shoujo is Gravity Part 132. And everyone's like, what about the gravity thing? That's a reference to something else. And of course, like I said, I've been making a lot of different games in that type of playlist. Hence, this is part 133. So this is video number 133 in, well, and everyone's like, this is way too long-winded for a reference. You're at 133 parts. Yeah. No one quite does references and odd joke things like I do. Why am I imagining a person's head poking through here? Like a bolt from the blue, the doorbell shatters my trance. But yeah, one, I wonder if that developer who even told me about this game. So the developer of this game told me about this game. That being said, I don't know if that developer will ever actually even know that I'm doing this video, ever. Let alone even watch it. Or their opinion of me doing so. Either way, thank you for making this game, and thank you for making it free. I have no promises that I'll ever do more than one part of it for a video. But hey, if I get people interested in it, then maybe I'll do more. Like a bolt from the blue, the doorbell shatters my trance. I take a moment to shake off the irrational sense of dread the doorbell always causes me. It's people from the outside world. Relax, it's just a stupid doorbell. It's probably nothing. The postman or kids selling cookies for a fundraiser. I know it's nothing. So every time I hear it, shaking my head to rebury the old ghost unnerves a more recent one. Mia? Did she come back? Of course not. Mia wouldn't just come back. If she wanted to talk, she'd message me and tell me to meet her, likely somewhere inconvenient. It would be all planned out ahead of time. And now I'm thinking about Mia again. How did she fit all of her stuff in 2 bags? I mean, seriously, they weren't even big bags. Maybe I screwed up this time. Usually when she's passive-aggressive, Mia, I could just wait her out. Let her get out of her system. If I hadn't said anything, maybe that's what would have happened this time too? Sigh. I hesitate a moment to collect myself, but now Claudia should be out of sight, so a stranger won't see her. So one of the first things Mom taught her, having a neko isn't illegal, but it is kind of weird. And the fewer people who know, the better. With a deep breath, I open the door to end the mystery. Ellipses. More ellipses. What? I twist the handle and give a firm tug. The door opens slightly, then is yanked closed again? Huh? My lungs slowly force air through clenched teeth, causing a hissing sound, like the slow match of a burning fuse. I'm in no mood for this. I'm still wound up tight because of Mia. This is a bad time for someone to be messing with me. A heat from the back of my skull radiates in my arms, bringing both of my hands around the door handle. Yanking with all my might does the trick. Nyah! Too well. The door fly opens, I tumble backwards. The second surprise this morning was replaced with shock as someone, lands on top of me. Ow! The next moment lasts only an instant, but feels much longer as my brain pieces together what's happening. Someone is on top of me. The someone is probably a woman, guessing by the smell of peach shampoo. And the unmistakable feel of breasts pressed to my face through soft fabric. Normally, breasts in my face would put me in a good mood, but the pain in my back. Ah! And the sound she makes zap me back and realize she seems in pain. Hello? With surprising quickness, she rolls off of me and turns back towards the door. It's then I notice the ears and tail. It's a neko? Wearing a collar with a leash tied to the door handle? What the fuck? Hello? Hi, personal bubble? As the sound of my voice, the neko spins back toward me, leaning uncomfortably close. The blindingly sharp movement freezes me in pace. Nose to nose, her unblinking eyes hold my gaze. Her breath warms my face as she angrily scrutinizes me. After a moment, she twists away. The neko settles onto her rump. Her tail follows with a heavy thump. She lets out a displeased huff and a quiet vocal whine, the same sound that a moment ago I mistook for pain. As I remember to breathe again, my mind puts the final piece of the puzzle together. Pepper. Pepper turns one ear in my direction at the sound of her name, but but keeps her focus towards the door. Pepper is in my house? Why is Pepper in my house? Pepper, why are you here? Where is Goro? Where is Akechi? Ask that last question, already knowing the answer. My eyes focus on Pepper's leash, tied to my door handle. Pepper pawn. What? Goro gone. Who was Goro and is he dead? I ache, and my back slow rises to the hard floor. I step around and Pepper untie her leash. Grab her small suitcase. Her small suitcase. I'm going to murder Goro. Is he alive? Why are we in the basement? Pepper is Goro's neko. He kept her in the basement, chained to a fucking... Seriously, this is... Seriously, what is this background? What is this background? Like me and Claudia, Goro had Pepper since he was a kid, and she was a kitten. When Goro was young, rats. Okay. The normal scary big ones, the length of your arm, not the intense, horrifying big ones the size of your leg, found a way into his basement. Of course, Goro's family tried traps and exterminators. Once the rats got a foothold, like very dangerous, slowly rising tide, they gained ground. So they got a kitten to take care of the problem. And oh boy did she. Pepper. Pepper turned out to be a rat-murdering machine. Almost immediately, she fashioned a spear from a carving knife and a broomstick and went on a monkey stomping wild on the basement rat population. I'm told she would wait for hours, often letting them scurry around half the day before ambushing them and unleashing hell upon them. This was as a kitten. Goro's family would reward Pepper with heaps of praise, and by cooking the rats she slaughtered on their grill. Pepper bonded with Goro, so he took her with him when he got his own place. I've known Pepper for as long as I've known Goro, but I don't understand why you are here. Use your words, Pepper. I don't know uwu speak. Pepper answers my question, with an angry tip of her tail. And the only thing betraying her calm exterior. She tries to hide her anxiety and to look dignified on my foyer floor. This doesn't feel like a typical Goro prank, or one of his impulsive bad ideas. The thought is not reassuring. Rubbing my sore back, I step over to grab my phone from the small table where I'd charge it. This isn't Pepper's doing, so as I pass, I automatically touch her head. She ignores the reassuring gesture. So stupid. It's hilarious. The narrow pair of eyes peeking over the back of the sofa catch my attention and my concern. Claudia, drawn by the recent commotion, has decided to see what the fuss is all about, but only from a distance. A creeping worry stops me before I can dial. Claudia has never met another neko. I can't imagine that Pepper has either. This could be a problem. Nekos can be vicious. I can just picture a fight, scratching, clawing, tearing each other's clothes. Okay. At least technically there's no nudity because her nipple is hidden by her arm. For a moment, the depraved part of my brain twists the scenario of two territorial domestic nekos into a vividly pornographic cat fight. Stop that! The non-lizard part of my brain quickly points out the reality of the situation. A cat fight wouldn't be sexy. It would be savage and bloody. Remember the old news report. 20 dead. Neko's gone insane. I'm startled for the third time this morning. Just as I'm about to dial, my phone rings. What the hell, Goro? At the sound of Goro's name, Pepper leans closer, focusing intently on the phone. Hey, buddy! How's things? Goro's chipper tone causes my grip on the phone to tighten. Why did you abandon your neko here? And how dare you have the gall to be all chipper and shit about it? Worse, the sound of his car engine through the echo of the speakerphone tells me that he's driving away. Pepper comes even closer. You and Pepper alright? That looked rough when you two tumbled. So you fucking saw that. I feel my cheeks get hot. Gee, wait. You saw that? Dude, what kind of person do you think I am? I wasn't just gonna leave her there and drive off. I waited till you opened the door first. That, on the one hand, makes it better, on the other hand, doesn't. I'm absolutely speechless. Pepper sees Claudia. Don't make me get out the catnip. They exchange a glare. After a moment, they both return their attention to Goro's voice. Hey, I'm glad you called. He called me. Look, Goro. I'm not in the mood for your insanity. This isn't funny. Come on, it's a little funny. Yeah, what if one of my neighbors saw? Ooh, Veronica? Veronica likes nekos. I have other neighbors, you twit. Relax. No one saw, and no prank this time, I swear. You said that last time, and this time before that. True. But this time I mean it. Goro, I'm serious. Great news. I joined the army. I leave in a week for basic training. Why did you join the army? And two, whether it's nekos, children, friends, even if you had pet cats and dogs, it'd be very irresponsible for you to join anything that would require you to leave like this if you have, anyone or anything that depends on you. The army. Goros play electric, so you get used to things not being when you sit there. That's not even a good setup. You're losing your edge. I'm out of my apartment today and crashing my aunts till I leave. I can't take Pepper to the army. But Pepper likes you. Besides, with Mia gone. My jaw drops. Of course Mia told you. She messaged me this morning, and for what it's worth, she's being completely unreasonable as usual. Well, I mean, I appreciate you having my side, and I appreciate you being sensible about that, but I don't feel you're being sensible about this, and I don't appreciate you just assuming that I will take care of your neko, which I probably will. I didn't tell her that, though, otherwise she'd be pissed off at me too. I just kept sending her frowny face emotes. Are they fucking? Mia. The whole time, with her matter-of-fact tone, how do you expect me to live with one of those things now? Cool and collected as always, she just laid out in her regular measured voice. I'll be honest, I could see an objection if your partner had a very humanoid individual, whether it's literally just another person or just a neko or anything. No matter what line you draw there. I could see the objection there. But if it's you ran over a neko, that's... I'm your girlfriend. It's just a neko. Quietly demanding. Get rid of it. When you say it with that tone, it makes it sound like you want me to take the cat girl and put her in a burlap sack and drown her in the fucking river. Jesus. It's what happened? Well, the girlfriend said to get rid of the neko, so... Jesus Christ. That reminds me the cat came back. You guys remember the cat came back? I sang that song when I was doing a Let's Play of Proteus 4 years ago. I even returned to it, do a little extra part of it like a year ago. Occasionally it's nice to return to an old game. Wait, Goro's using me as a distraction. It has to be part of whatever game he's playing. Oh, and you joining the army and dumping pepper on me is reasonable? Dude, your EMT job is training you to become a paramedic. There is no way you'd join. I'm going to be an army medic. I had the training night right after boot camp. I got it in writing, signed by Colonel Sanders. If I play my cards right, down the road I may get the army to pay for medical school too. Dr. Goro, sexy, right? Say it, Dr. Goro. Say it. Come on, you know you want to say it. I mean, on the one hand, it's good that you're trying to do this, but the fact of the matter is this. You are abandoning someone who was depending on you. I can usually anticipate his thought process, but Goro's practiced this conversation. Right now, he's 6 steps ahead, and I'm fumbling about to catch up. He's famous for doing crazy and impulsive things, but this is really weird and out of the blue, even for him. The army? Where's the punchline? Not this time, no prank. I'm just abandoning the, technically human being who has been dependent on me as a pet that has known me for like 20 years. Just like, bye. I mean, here's the thing. I wouldn't be able to do that. One, not only is it because that I'd feel it would be immoral to abandon someone like that, but also, like, I'd have a really strong emotional bond. But at the same time, I can understand. There are some times where you literally can't. But again, that's... especially if it was like... Like, here's the thing. Like, we couldn't with Mia and Claudia beforehand. And you're like, what do you mean by that? Simple. Claudia initially lived with my mom. So when I moved out and got my own place and started, like, seeing Mia, it wasn't a thing for me not to bring Claudia with me because Claudia wasn't mine to bring with me. She was with my mom. But, then she moved but said, hey, if I'm going to move, I need to make sure I'm not going to just abandon. So it'd be one thing, like, I could understand Goro to a degree if he was, say, called me ahead of time and made sure. And maybe he did it this way because he felt bad about the whole thing and just couldn't deal to... But at the same time, it's just... Nothing was forcing him into this situation either. This really is one of your twisted games? Nah, man, no game. It's a 1-2 punch. That's really good. Goro joined the army. He's leaving. I don't want Pepper. I already have a neko. No one has two. No one has 2 nekos. But he can't take Pepper with him. Who the hell is he going to leave her with? Me, goddammit. Look, this is hard for me. You are the only one in the world I can trust with her. You know I wouldn't do this unless I was out of options. There just as anyone else. You're right. He's dropped me and Pepper into this situation. I hate myself because I don't see any way out. I can't say no because I feel bad for Pepper. I've only ever known her as sassy, self-assured, confident, and feisty. But right now, this neko looks lost. Well, I mean, her closest friend and companion in the whole world basically just ditched her. That'd be super sad. Meek and unwanted. And I hate seeing her like this. I want to be pissed off. I mean, I am. But I want to be more pissed off. I should be more pissed off. But there's something in Goro's voice, a certain tone that's usually never there, a finality that I've only ever heard once before. I'm sorry that I did this, but I'm not sorry that you're someone I know will treat her well and make her happy. He's played me perfectly, even though this is the worst way he could have gone about this for me and for Pepper. You suck, Goro, he replies with no trace of humor. I know. Goro then asks to speak to Pepper. I hold the phone out and she takes it like she's receiving a fragile gift. He tells her that she is an awesome neko and that I'm going to take very good care of her, so she should stay out of trouble. Pepper doesn't move the whole time. Her entire being is focused on Goro's voice. Claudia joins us in the foyer. Her expression has softened. She looks at Pepper, then to me, and back to Pepper. Pepper puts down the phone and adjusts her position so that her legs are under her, and her tail is wrapped around them. Her eyes stare flatly at a blank spot on the wall. A somber hush fills the house. I pick up the phone. Oh, she may try to climb into the shower with you. What? I drop the phone. It takes me 3 tries to pick it up again. Dude, what? Yeah, I never told you this. Pepper loves showers. Well, I do too. I take 20 showers a week. Okay, only 15, but still. People are like, that's excessive. I take 15 showers a week and a bath every other week. So technically every month I'm taking about 60 to 80 showers and 2 to 3 baths. I'm like fucking Vegeta standing in the rain, or Kermit the Frog sitting in the fucking bathtub. Yeah, I never told you this. Pepper loves showers, so when she hears the water, she's excited and tries to get in. Tries to get... She's harmless, but she'll use too much shampoo. Don't use all my shampoo. Oh, and she may forget to put on clothes after. I make several unintelligent sounds into the phone. The nekos can probably hear the blood rushing to my face. Geez, just lock the door when you're in there. Of course, Pepper will whine and bang on the door. Look, I'm sorry, I promise. I'll make it up to you. One day. Oh, fucking fuck. Then, I'm trying not to think of Pepper naked in the shower. I think that's a good place to end off. Let me know if I should continue this game. How do I save? Okay. Yeah, an hour. I need to make shorter videos. Sorry, bye.